What's going on, guys and girls? Welcome back. So today I got my phone with me. I thought of an interesting topic today because I'm always interested by how the world views photographers and photography in general, and I'm very interested in just really where people get some of these bases for the things that they say about photographers as a whole. Now, some of these things, of course, I'm sure are experience based. I'm sure that photographers that they've dealt with are very unprofessional, and I'm sure that people just aren't educated. The things that I hear a lot, especially on social media and even managing the studios that I manage, that people just don't know. It's just a lack of knowing. And of course, so I went on Threads, which is Twitter's lesser known cousin, but I went on Threads recently and I took a couple screenshots of just interesting comments that I thought would be funny to share and kind of talk about. So in no way, if you see your name, your username on this video, am I making fun of you, unless you just said something like really ridiculous. But it's not to poke fun at the people that made the comments. I actually do just want to talk through some of these comments and kind of wonder what the thought process was when these comments were made, because as a photographer, I'm somebody who takes photography seriously. I'm somebody who loves the art of photography and photography in general. So I'm just always very interested when people make very outlandish comments sometimes. So let's get into it. Don't worry, you all. Like, this is a short video. It's not a normal video I don't really do too many reaction videos, but I thought it would be interesting to check out and definitely see, you know, what people are saying. So I have this one here from Mary Kay Photos, and she says, I second shoot all the time, and I don't think I'd sign up to second shoot if I couldn't keep the images I create. Yes, the main photographer delivers them, is not my client, but after the gallery is sent, I love being able to use a few images in my portfolio. I think as long as you make your expectations clear to whoever you hire and compensate them well, it's up to them if they want to sign up or not, but I would likely opt out. So she is complaining because I'm assuming that somebody posted that they don't allow their second shooters to use images that they had them hired them to take. And there's kind of a catch-22 to this. So when you're working for a company like Mom 365, Life Touch, Shutterfly, any of these companies where you are a hired photographer, you don't get to keep the images because you're practically waiving your copyrights right as an employee of the company. The thing with me and second shooters is that while second shooters will never get paid as much as the main photographer, I think personally I love to allow my second shooters to use the images. I do tell them to wait till I post the images, wait till the family posts the images before posting the images online, and then not to tag the bride, because one thing, I don't want to confuse the bride on where the images are coming from. You're more than welcome with me to use the images in your portfolio, because that's why I hired you. I gave you that experience for that exact reason, so that you could have portfolio pieces. But I also too don't want to usurp the main album and the main look of what I sent to the clients, and that's just for continuity reasons. You can edit the photos any way you want to, put them up online. Like I said, I just think it's best to leave tagging the bride and groom in the photos to the main photographer. That's the same for me. I've been second shooter more than a couple times, and I either haven't posted the photos at all, or even when I do post the photos, I just won't tag the family because they weren't my direct client, and it was great practice, but it's just not important for me to tag them in that because it wasn't my client. So let's move on to the next one. So this one from O.M. Stoltz, I believe I said that right. Sorry if I messed it up. It said, LOL, please refrain from tagging me in any I need a photographer post. I appreciate the thought, but the people that are asking are trolls, and it's getting annoying. And I wholeheartedly agree. Back when I was living in Atlanta, it was very obvious that my friends and other people that knew me in the community would love to make sure that I got jobs that were paying. So they would tag me in the "I need a photographer to follow me around" post, the "I need a photographer for a day," "I need a videographer for a day." And while it came from a really great place, they didn't know this because they're not photographers. But a lot of those people don't actually mean it. They're not actually looking for anybody. If they were serious, they would just go find a photographer that matched what they were looking for and then reach out to them by email or DM or call. You know who's serious by the people who will look for your information on your sites, on your social media, and get in contact with you that way. You know that they're serious and more about business than the people who just put out a general post. "Hey, I'm looking for a photographer." You're not really looking for a photographer, are you? You just want to seem important, and that's a waste of our time and your time. Also, too, before I move on to the next one, if you do get booked for a day rate, meaning that you are following somebody around for the day and capturing their life because maybe they're an influencer or maybe they have a brand deal and they needed the content, definitely work out what that looks like from other people in the industry in your area. Don't cheap yourself out just because you really want clients. It's not going to help you in the long run, and you're going to end up more frustrated and stressed out because a lot of times people who are looking for cheap work or looking to pay you in exposure are really not going to ever appreciate the work that you do for them, no matter how good of a job you do. So I just think that you should definitely work out your daily rates, work out your pay, so that you can make sure that you're compensated. So even if they don't like what you do and they piss you off or they treat you any kind of way, at least you got compensated for it. It's a bad rap, and I've had it happen where I didn't get my value and I was insulted. So you definitely want to make sure that you are getting paid what you should. So this next one is from Marie Wedding Co. She says, "How do you feel as a photographer when the client repeatedly tells you what to shoot throughout the day, such as ensuring you are getting the shots they mentioned to you? Is it helpful or irritating?" So if I'm on the event, my biggest thing with the event is to ask the client, "Hey, what are you looking for?" And then you want to compile a shot list. If you have a second shooter, you want to give the second shooter the shot list as well, because you want to make sure that you're including what the client is asking. And they could be asking because they haven't seen you write it down. They're not sure that you have any notes on what they're looking for, and they feel like they have to repeat it. Now, you can always reassure the client in a very nice way. "Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I do have what you asked. I have the list here. I got everything on there, and then I added in some shots that I think would be really nice as well. But we're definitely going to capture what you're looking for first." You just want to allow the client to know that, "Hey, I've heard you. I understand that this is what you're looking for." You said in a professional manner so that they understand that you understand, and you go from there. Of course, you're going to have clients that want to micromanage and really nitpick and tell you what you should be doing, and why aren't you doing this? Why are you doing this? I asked for this. Where is this? They're going to micromanage you, but you just have to reassure them, "Hey, I understand that you're a little bit worried because it's a very eventful day. This is a high energy day for you, and I understand that you have a lot riding on this, but trust and assure, I have the list of shots that you're looking for, and I have written them all down, and we're going to capture exactly what you need." And that's just good customer service. Let's move on to the next one. From Sarah Coates Photos. "Did your photographer make you feel uncomfortable during getting ready photos or when you put on your dress? I'm always trying to make sure my clients feel safe, and I want to make sure I'm not doing anything to make my brides feel uncomfortable during such an intimate moment." I haven't shot a lot of weddings, and the getting ready part I know is very essential to the album of the wedding photos. Especially when I know that I can have a second shooter on budget, I definitely try and have a female second shooter with me for this exact reason, because I don't need to be in there. Personally, as a male, I would like to have a female second shooter because women pay attention to details a lot more than men do. It's just a thing, and a lot of times, especially for this, it's great to have a female on hand. hey, I'm gonna need you going to the bride room with the get ready. Let's not get them naked, but when they're putting the dress on, definitely get them with the dress being put on with the help of the bridesmaids. Let's get them all in there. If they have matching pajamas, let's do that. If they're all, we're at a hotel and they have all matching bathrobes, let's get one of those going like they're at a spa day. That way, you know, it's a little fun. It adds a little bit more character to the shoot, and that way they're enjoyable. And I know that with a female there, they'll feel more comfortable than if me, my 6'4" domineering self, is in the room with a camera. It seems a lot intimidating, and of course, you know, because I'm a male, we just get the short end of the stick. So a lot of times I just avoid that wholeheartedly, and I just try not to be in the room, and I like to have a female second shooter on hand. But that's a very good question. You definitely want to make sure your clients are comfortable, that they are safe, that they feel safe and welcome, and that in no time do they feel that they're in danger or that something might happen to them, because it will come through across in the photos, and they might not be a returning client if they feel that way. Wes Yoder says that he wants to be a full-time photographer, videographer. I think that anybody who has a creative mindset, who is very able to adapt to situations on a dime, I believe that you can be a full-time photographer, videographer. The reason why I clipped this quote in its entirety is because I want to say that it may not look the same that you see people doing on social media. And so what I mean is that you see these people going on these nice trips, they have clients flying them out, they have a ton of equipment, they have a whole team, and it could look like that. There's more than a possibility for your business to be like that. But if it's not, it's okay. You have to find your way in what being a full-time photographer and videographer looks like for you. And so I think that's something that everybody has to get used to. It's not always going to be what we see on social media and people having these brand deals and they're flying to different countries. And, you know, like I said, it can happen. It definitely can happen. But maybe you're the type of photographer and videographer that has to work 15 shoots a week and then you go on vacation. You know, you may have those type of moments. So you just want to be aware of what the reality of the industry is and understand what your path will be through the industry to get where you're trying to go. Park Stone Photography. Now, he said a very interesting quote. I think this is something that I don't agree with, and you're going to hear why I don't agree with it in a moment. He writes, "You're a professional photographer when your photography puts food on your table, pays your bills, and you can easily live off that income without any other income coming in. Others are just good at photography and take professional quality photos." So here's the problem with that. One, you don't have the right to tell somebody else that they're professional or not professional. Professionalism comes in how you act and enact business between what your services are and the clients, meaning that how you act when you're doing consultation calls, when you're meeting the clients, during the shoot, your delivery, all that leads to professionalism. Yes, will being a full-time photographer be great? Of course. But I know a lot of photographers who do photography majority of the time, they make majority of their income from, but they still have to supplement their income due to inflation with other jobs. That doesn't make them any less of a full-time photographer than this person or even me. I manage 2 studios. I get my money from doing photography, but I would never look down at somebody else who has a different layout and say, hey, you're not a full-time photographer because you don't make all your money from photography. Well, understandably enough, in the business of photography, because there's so many of us, that there will be droughts in your business. You may have to supplement your income with something else, and that's totally fine. It doesn't take anything away from you, and I don't think that these type of people should be telling people how they are, who they are as a professional photographer. Shot by Smooth. I like that name, Shot by Smooth. He said, folks will creatively find a way to not pay you for a paid service. I just saw a post where someone needed a photographer for a business event last minute and would give the photographer the email list of 400 people in attendance. I totally understand the potential of the email list, but just pay the few $100 it costs to get a photographer, especially if people get paid to get into this event. Now that's true. Again, it comes from a lack of importance seen in the arts in the United States, and I could go on a whole history lesson about this, but because people don't see photography as a real profession, it is hard to get people to understand how important it is to pay for this service. If you pay for the service the first time and you pay for the right service by doing your research, you don't have to worry about the outcome. You know that the outcome is going to be good because of who you hired. Trying to pay people in exposure and things like an email list or food is not really a great way to pay people. If you don't have the money, it's okay. There are photographers that may fit in your budget, and if not, then that's a good sign that you should save the money up to pay for somebody to cover your event. You shouldn't have to worry about, how are the photos going to come out during the event, because you should just be hosting the event and enjoying it. Pay your photographers, and it's not just because I'm a photographer. I believe that that goes with any service industry. If you want good food, you're going to pay the price for good food. If you want good service, you're going to pay the price for good service, and so on and so forth. So just pay your photographers. This one from Elisa Pizza, I like that. The wait period after sending your edits and getting a response is always nerve-wracking. Are they going to like it? Are they not going to like it? Am I a bad photographer? And this is so true. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing photography. You don't know how clients are going to act when they see the photos. You're never going to know if they're going to like it. Even in the studio, sometimes we'll have a great session. We'll be laughing, cracking jokes, and I'm still nerve-wracked about, are they going to like the photos? Are they going to enjoy them? After this memorable moment during the shoot, will they like these edits afterwards? That's always the thing, man. It never grows old. It's just something that you just have to muster and get by, because it's one of those things that just is always going to be there. It's just the anticipation of, will people like what they receive as a service? Because one bad service could lead to somebody writing a bad review, whether that be Yelp, whether that be Google Ads, whether it be on your website or Instagram. People spreading bad news. It spreads like wildfire. And so we just try our best and grit our teeth and hope that they enjoy the end result. But that was a great one. Jaquandor, I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry about that. He said, there's a YouTube photographer I follow who has a nice philosophy. There's no such thing as bad photography, just missed opportunities. I love that, and I've been thinking about it all day because I missed one that would have been beautiful. Oh well. And Jaquanda, you have that's a great thing, because when that photographer you follow is correct, and it wasn't me. I know I'm a YouTube photographer, or a photographer that does YouTube, but that is such a great thing. There's no bad photography. It's just missed opportunity. And of course, as you get older in photography, you can cut down on how many missed opportunities you have, but they will still be there. There's just no escaping it. It's always us relying on the technology and the technology relying on us. And sometimes there's just a miscommunication between the two. So you just have to give yourself the grace and understand that, hey, I missed it, and I'm gonna keep going. And that's what makes you a diligent photographer. Bankston Photography says, people who like to hate on cheap photographers, saying it harms the industry, just shows how little they understand how the industry works. If that $50 mini session photographer is hurting your business, I got some bad news for you. So here's the thing with this. Again, I understand what she's saying. Does somebody charging $50 actually undercut the industry and make it hard for photographers to get paid what they're worth? Yes and no. No, because there is a price range and market for each customer branch, and a photographer is only going to fit in where they get in and charge what they are comfortable charging for their services. Now, when people see $50 and then they go to another photographer who's charging $450, of course they're going to be concerned or a little bit taken back on what the difference is between the last person and the current person. And honestly, everybody has their own prices. Just like Burger King, you can have it your way. If you can afford $450, then you can afford a $450 photographer. And of course, a $50 photographer may be comfortable doing $50 sessions, and that's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that my thing and my comment for this is just that you have to know what the industry in the area is charging. Let's say here I am in Cypress, Texas right now. If everybody in the industry is charging here $300 for a photo shoot, then I don't want to undercut so much to where I'm not getting paid my time. I want to make sure that I'm coming in right under them. So if they're charging, I think I said $350, then I want to come in at $270. It makes me competitive, but I'm also not undercutting myself so much to where it doesn't make it worth actually doing the work. Understand that with $50, unless they're coming to your house for a mini session where you don't have to move and all you're doing is setting up and breaking down, then you gotta factor in a couple things: gas money, time to edit photos, the wait time on the clients, because clients are usually never on time. So you want to factor all that in and make sure that the $50 that you're charging is worth the work that you're doing. And that's all that is. So it all depends on you and the area that you're living in on how you will set your prices. And so I think that was just some great quotes. I've heard and seen a lot of other crazier quotes on Threads. And of course, if you all like this, I would definitely do another reaction to thread quotes about photographers. But yeah, I wanted to just bring this video. I thought it was interesting, some of the stuff that I saw, and wanted to implement that in the video and let you all know some of the things that people are saying about us. Some good, some bad, some indifferent. But yeah, I hope that you all like the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the things that matter. Here we're trying to build a community of photographers that help photographers. Iron sharpens iron. And like always, keep creating. Peace.